how do you know? First of all, how do you know it's even a woman anymore? I mean, they could be a man packing a gun. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me, it just seems like bait. It just seems like bait or something to lure you in to drop your guard, you know, middle of nowhere. Because, first of all, what man in his right mind is going to drop their woman off in the middle of nowhere, no matter how bad you got in a fight? I mean, that's just
in this case, the guy dropped his date off, killed her, and dumped her body out on the stretch. Okay, and then that's why every night, at that same time every night, you know, with the full moon, she would, you know, start walking, you know, trying to get back to town, and then, you know, she'd hitch a ride, and then all of a sudden, poof, she's gone. That would be enough where I tell you, I would start, if I didn't drink, I would certainly, and it wouldn't be Budweiser, I would certainly start drinking something really heavy after that, and I'll tell you one thing. I could never look a woman in the eye again after that one.
You would skip the middleman, go right to the whiskey.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, that reminds me, you know, in all my years, I have seen some spirits cross the road. I mean, I've been in the middle of nowhere at, you know, 2, 3 in the morning by myself, just driving like, I don't know why, in my younger days, something wrong with me, but I have seen some spirits in some places walk out in front of me, and I never stopped. But, well, the one time I did stop, actually the one time I had this girl with me in the middle of nowhere, you know, I was only like 20 or something. I was out in the middle of nowhere, just, you know, I don't know what we was doing out there, looking at a butterfly collection or something.
Oh, you were out there someplace to park, okay? Be honest.
Yeah, that's what it was. You reminded me. I forgot about that stuff. Yeah, so we're sitting out there, and here comes
at
this
my
black
age, I don't
shadowy
care anymore.
Yeah, this black shadowy thing comes walking out of the woods, and man, when she seen that, she was in the car. Let's get out of here. And I was like amazed. I was like, wow, did you see that? She was like, if you don't come on, I'm leaving you. So I had to get in the car. But yeah, I've seen a few of them walk in front of me. I've never stopped for them or anything, but I can relate to that. It's just, it's kind of, it really stops you in your tracks and makes you take a good look at it, and like it makes you think, like, what has happened in these woods over the last God knows how long, you know. Was it Native American? You know, that's another thing, Gary. You never know about land. You know, you could go into a new house and could be haunted because of the daggone land. And there's a lot of that history around here, unfortunately, with Indians and spirits of Indians killing each other, fighting each other, and then our soldiers. So you just never know. You never know.
Yeah, well, you never know who's planted on your property. Like Liz, you know, she has a little farm, I think with 30-some-odd acres. And, you know, she was telling me on one of my shows that, you know, she's out there, I don't remember, maybe taking care of her horse or whatever. I can't remember. Liz, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But she saw somebody walking through her pasture, and she thought maybe it was one of the neighbor boys. You know, they were dressed like in a hoodie and like cargo pants.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's watching him walking towards her. And then, you know, she took her eyes off of him for maybe a second or two. She turned around. He was gone. And she said there's no place he could have gone at all.
Right.
Okay, because of the way her property is. And, you know, she's an ex-deputy sheriff and for a couple of different sheriff departments. And she went and checked. There was no footprints. There was no nothing. But, you know, in the Civil War in that area, that you know, a lot of people died in, you know, the fighting, and they just buried them right pretty much where they died, you know, and you don't know what's all around on the property. And, you know, I asked, I said, is your house new? And it was for her. It was, you know, and the thing is, you don't know what was there before they built the house. You don't know what was on, you don't know what's on those 32 acres or what was.
Nope. You just don't know. And I have found in my experiences, houses close to rivers or big streams or something, they're like paranormal highways sometimes, and they have a long history of deaths on land close to rivers because of all the hundreds of years of floods or whatnot of happening, people dying, drowning, and so you never know. You just never know. I know I found that it's a little to be more amped up with houses along rivers and stuff like that. I've noticed it seems to be, but good point. You just never know. You never know, and not everything is written in history of who lived there or whatever, or who died there. And I got to tell you something. A lot of the old houses around here back in the 1800s, a lot of them, they buried their dead right on their own land.
Oh, yeah. That was normal.
So you don't. What's that?
That was quite normal. Back before the turn of the century, I mean, if you had a little house or a little farm, the whole family was planted out there, by that oak tree or wherever.
Right. And the thing is, if this happened, usually there's a lot of places where I live around here like that, and some of them, if they were like in 1820s or before 1850, a lot of them headstones over the years, they're gone now. So, like the graves are there, but the headstones is buried over, erosion of soil and trees and leaves and stuff on them, so you don't even know. So a lot of these people on the land, there's bodies buried there you don't know, even though they were marked at one time. Now you can't see them, you don't know them, or you stumble upon them accidentally, or you accidentally plow and you dig them up, and then you've really dug up a hornet's nest of angry spirits or unrested. So, yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah, and now I'm going to change the subject again. When I first got back into broadcasting, one of my guests was a vampire. Now, James, I know you're sitting there going, yeah, vampire. Well,
I don't doubt it. I believe it. I've seen them. So go on with it.
Okay, well, in this case, the guy, what he does is for the last 5 years, and now it's going on 6 years, if he's still doing it, he hasn't ate food.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, no food, only nourishment he has. He has volunteer friends that come over and feed him. Mm. So he drinks blood, to stay alive. And from what he was telling me, in fact, somebody else that knows him told me that the guy is really pale. If he goes outside, he gets really sick. His skin immediately starts peeling. So he doesn't go outside. His apartment or house, wherever he's in, is kept dark all the time. But I'm just wondering if somebody, number one, it drank human blood for all their nourishment. I guess that is a vampire.
It is. And I think what he's experiencing is a severe vitamin deficiency. And those are the side effects of, can't hardly be in the sun and being pale and probably a lot of other things.
Well, anemic as hell. Number one.
Yeah.
But I'm just, and I asked him, I said, have you ever tried in this whole time to eat food? And he goes, I tried it once or twice and got terrible sick and threw up. I guess what happens is blood, from what I read, could give you all the nourishment, but you're really looking at if somebody has anything out there, any type of disease or whatever that you can catch.
Oh, yeah, my goodness. Hepatitis, AIDS, goodness gracious. There's all kinds of blood diseases.
But, I don't know what type of people would, let them, somebody feed upon him on a regular basis. And I guess he has a group of people that come over and they take turns, and that's what they do, is he consumes their blood to a certain level.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that's not very unpopular down in Louisiana. I know a few things of that going on down there, actually. People disciples or whatever they are, who routinely volunteer, to I think what it is, it's a stimulant for both parties. Maybe the person that's volunteering, I think maybe it's kind of a stimulant to them, and then of course, obviously the person getting the blood, it's got to be a stimulant to them in some way or another. Even if that's the only thing they're eating and that's their food, it's got to be some kind of stimulant to them. Now, I don't know if all this is started because of maybe some kind of deficiency of something, or I don't know. I don't know enough history on it, but I do know that it does exist. I do know that.
Well, from what he told me, it started when he was a little kid. His mom would, prepare like steak or whatever, and he didn't care about the steak. He loved the blood, uncooked blood. I before I had him on, and even after I had him on as the guest, I should actually get him on again. But I did research, and there is a lot of cults of vampires the same way. They talk about vampires, the type that take your not your soul, but they take your energy. But then
Yeah.
there's the other type of vampires that have their cults that live on human blood. Maybe they don't go around, looking for somebody walking down the street like that virgin at 17 years old and bite him in the neck. They somehow,
Right.
I don't know. I just myself, I would never donate my blood. Here, have my neck, have my arm. You're going to bite me in the neck. I could never get, I couldn't even.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You could get, because those blood diseases could go both ways. You could get hepatitis or something from the guy doing the biting. I mean, that you're dancing with the devil, so to speak. You really are.
Well,
it's not my cup of tea or blood, as you would say.
Well, I just want to make a point out there because people have said there's no such thing as vampires. There is.
Oh, no, there is.
There's two types of vampires, the energy vampire and the person out there that thinks that they survive on human blood.
And you know what? There's actually 3 or 4 different kind of vampires. Like there's a different kind of, there's an energy vampire that comes in a spirit form that like an evil spirit type that will drain you, and they're known as kind of a evil spirit that's a kind of a vampire that feeds off your energy. And then there's living people that will, like narcissists. Narcissists will drain you dry. They're just draw your energy out of them. Or negative people will do that. And then, of course, you got the people that love to dine on blood.
Well, they can dine on all the blood they want, but it isn't going to be mine. But, I'm going to go back even before I got married to my first wife. One of my first girlfriends I had, she was very attractive, and we dated a few times. And, and one day, out of the blue, she says, I'm a witch. My mom is a witch. My grandmother's a witch. And,
oh, boy.
And I'm going, oh, okay. Maybe she's teasing me. And, so I always wondered why there was weird things in their house, in their, front room. And, I found out she was a witch and really, and not the friendly type of witch. She was the other type of witch.
Oh, goodness.
And and it's funny. I attracted a witch and, after all, I think about a week after that, I kind of disappeared from the scene. I never answered her phone calls or anything like that after that. But then, I met my first wife. And we were married probably a month. I moved from Seattle down to Kelso, Washington area. And I come home one night. I was working at that time in a cement company and a radio station. So, on the radio station at night, during the day, I was shoveling sand and gravel and concrete mix into a hopper all day. And I came home one day because I was wore out. I wasn't feeling good. I come home, and in my apartment, it's like 8, 9, 10 people. The curtains are drawn. They had,
oh, my.
They had this weird pattern thing on, drawn on the floor. It was like a linoleum floor. And they had a Ouija board out. And
boy.
And I started really freaking out. I thought I'll be honest with you. Here's my first mistake. My first wife, I met her, and 2.5 weeks later, we got married. Dumb Gary. Anyway, but I found out she was in a coven. And, a lot of scary things. For 2.5 years, was this strange things after strange things were going on. And, I do believe in witchcraft. I do, I've seen them cast spells on people, and I seen some really scary things happen. That's one of the reasons why the marriage didn't last.
I bet you've seen a lot of strange things, especially that night. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. I had one friend that I had a really nice car. It was hopped up. It had a 440 in it, headers on it, you name it. And, I decided to sell it to my friend because he wanted it. And I sold it to him really cheap. My wife got really mad at me because she never liked the guy and his wife at all. And they